unimaginable tragedy occurred during Travis Scott's performance at the AstroworldFestival in Houston, Texas, leaving 8 young people dead and hundreds more injured. And while the authorities are still trying to determine exactly what led to the tragic loss of life, the fans are sharing their outrage over the way Travis and Kylie handled the situation. Travis is being accused of encouraging reckless behavior, while Kyle is getting dragged for sharing Instagram stories from the scene of the tragedy. Both Kylie and Travis have now addressed the backlash. A horrific tragedy struck Travis Scott's AstroworldFestival in Houston on Friday, November 5th, when 8 people died and hundreds more were injured during a crowd surge. Witnesses say that being in the crowd felt like being swept by a huge wave of water, unable to move or breathe.
It literally, the crowd becomes a fluid, essentially. You get pushed from the back because people keep pressing in, and then the people at the gates, they don't have anywhere to go, they push back, and so you're just kind of like flowing. It's almost like a wave, but an uncontrolled wave. You're not actually standing on the ground, you're just standing on other people's shoes.
During a press conference on Saturday morning, Houston Mayor Sylvester Turner said the incident is an active investigation and confirmed 8 young people lost their lives during Travis Scott's performance.
Last night was tragic on many different levels, and this is a very, very active investigation, and we'll probably be at it for quite some time to determine what exactly happened. Based on our latest information, 8 people are reported dead from the event last night. This incident is being thoroughly investigated and reviewed.
The youngest victim was 14-year-old John Hilgert, a freshman at Memorial High School in Houston, while the oldest, 27-year-old Danish Baker, died while trying to save his fiancée. Other victims include 16-year-old Brianna Rodriguez, a junior at Heights High School in Houston, 21-year-old mechanical engineering student Franco Patino. Franco's best friend is 20-year-old journalism student Jacob Duranek, 21-year-old Western Washington University student Axel Acosta, 23-year-old medical assistant and criminal justice mayor Ruby Pena, as well as any other young man in the early 20s whose name hasn't been revealed. There are still many unanswered questions to this heartbreaking tragedy, and the fans are rightfully demanding answers. Like, why did it take Travis so long to stop the concert? And what was Kylie thinking when she kept sharing Insta stories while paramedics were trying to make their way through the crowd and help injured people? According to a timeline provided by authorities, Travis's concert wasn't shut down for a full 40 minutes after police declared it a mass casualty event and asked the promoters to stop the performance. Houston Police Chief Troy Finner explained that mass casualty was declared around 9:30 p.m. about half an hour into Travis's set, and first responders arrived at the scene about 2 minutes later. However, Travis didn't end his performance until 10:10 p.m. Our people stepped up around 9:30 p.m. and immediately went to the producers and told them, "Hey, people are going down," Finner said. And while Finner defended the delay and claimed you cannot just close it down when you have over 50,000 individuals, a reporter who was present at the scene said that people were screaming for the show to stop and their pleas went ignored. In fact, a shocking video has now emerged of a young woman climbing the scaffolding and yelling at the cameraman to do something because there are dead people in the crowd. Another clip from the concert showed the crowd chanting for the show to be stopped, but nothing was done for nearly an hour.
Stop the show! 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 Stop the show!
Finally, Travis stopped the show after he noticed somebody in the crowd who had passed out. After a backlash from fans and accusations of inciting the crowd to rush the stage, Travis addressed the incident in a series of Instagram stories and claimed he would have stopped the show sooner if he had known people were seriously injured.
Anytime I can make out, anything that's going on, I stop the show and, help them get the help they need, I could just never imagine the severity of the situation. I'm honestly just devastated. I could never imagine anything like this just happening. I'm gonna do everything I can to keep you guys updated and just keep you guys informed on what's going on. Love you all.
However, fans who witnessed this tragedy are saying there's no way Travis didn't know what was happening because there was literally an ambulance trying to make its way through the crowd. One fan commented, "Travis saw the ambulance in the crowd and proceeded to continue saying, 'I want to make this ground shake. That's inexcusable to me.'" Another fan wrote on Twitter, "Unfortunately, Travis Scott was responsible for the death of 8 people. He had the power to stop the concert if he really cared about his fans' lives. Not to mention, Travis saw the kids suffocating and still kept singing. Defending him is not okay." The fans are also saying that after this tragedy, Travis would never be allowed to organize concerts again. "I cannot get what happened at Astroworld out of my mind," one fan tweeted. "There's no way in hell Travis Scott should be granted a concert or gathering permit anytime in the next decade after this. Take away that privilege. It's justified and the least that can be done to atone for this tragedy." But criticism is also being directed at Kylie Jenner. Kylie, who is currently expecting her second child with Travis, attended the festival with her sister Kendall, and after fans noticed that the ambulance was visible in one of Kylie's Instagram stories from the concert, they slammed her for being insensitive and ignorant. After intense backlash from fans, Kylie broke silence on the tragedy on Saturday, November 6th, and addressed the accusations leveled against Travis and her. Kylie claimed she had no idea people were seriously injured while she was filming her stories, and she also defended Travis, saying he deeply cares about his fans. In a message shared on her Instagram stories, Kylie wrote, "Travis and I are broken and devastated. My thoughts and prayers are with all those who lost their lives and were injured or affected in any way by yesterday's events." She also added that she will keep Travis in her prayers as well because he cares deeply for his fans and the Houston community. Kylie then went on to address the fact that she was filming and sharing stories from the concert while people were literally dying in the crowd and begging for Travis to stop the show. "I want to make it clear we weren't aware of any fatalities until the news came out after the show, and in no world would we have continued filming or performing," Kylie wrote, concluding the message by sending her condolences to the victims' families. "I am sending my deepest condolences to all the families during this difficult time, and will be praying for the healing of everyone who has been impacted." But the fans are not happy with Kylie and Travis's messages because people who attended the concert are saying there's no way these two were unaware of how serious the situation was. One Twitter user pointed out nobody is blaming Kylie for the tragedy. The fans are simply outraged that she was being tone deaf about the whole thing and blindly defending Travis, who wasn't just a performer but an organizer of the Astroworld Festival. "So disappointed in Kylie," the fan wrote. "Nobody was holding you responsible, girl. You're pregnant, but I hate seeing you go all up for this man Travis, who would never do this for you, and no real man would allow it considering you're pregnant." Another disappointed fan shared Kylie's Instagram statement and said, "This is actually so scary. When you think about it, people are actually dead, like lost their actual lives, and Kylie Jenner puts an obligatory statement to save face. Why is she defending Travis instead of just expressing her devastation? This is so scary." So now we want to know what you think about the way Kylie and Travis handled this tragic situation. Do you think Kylie knew something serious was happening while she was posting her IG stories? And how do you feel about statements Kylie and Travis released saying they had no idea about the fatalities until after the event? Leave your comments down below.